Good. We are recording, and I am talking to Jillian DeStefano, who is the General Manager of Elite Health and Fitness. Good morning, Jillian.
Good morning, John. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
We actually wanted to do an interview with you and Lauren, the program manager, together today. But obviously, when things get busy, we have to change things up a bit. And
yep, we're always very active here.
that's right. And so we have to improvise a little bit. But basically, Julie and I had already interviewed earlier, as had Lauren, for another leadership course. But this time, I discussed with Jillian that I wanted to talk a little bit more about successorship. And along those lines, tell me a little bit, Jillian, about, as a general manager, how you intend to grow and motivate staff, as well as, bringing in new clients to the club. What's your...
So, anytime I bring on a new staff member, I want to make sure they have all the qualities that we're looking for at Elite Health and Fitness. You know, they're good, member service oriented, and they're able to make decisions on their own. Because as a manager, I can't be here 24/7, and I can't be by their side. So I empower all of our member service reps, from the cleaner up into my part-time workers, to be able to make decisions on our behalf based off of our policies and procedures. So they're able to, take on a leadership role, no matter what position they are in the club. And with that, there's certain people who, take that and run with it. And they not only make certain decisions, they make recommendations to myself or my assistant managers or our ownership. And those are the people that we look at and say, hey, you know what, maybe they're not just someone that we want at our member service rep. They're someone we want to grow into to take over leadership roles. So especially for a few people here at the club, I want to make sure that they have a place to grow. So they're not looking at their position here as a part-time position. We want them to grow here and get bigger and better with our company.
That's amazing. So you had a vision when you took on this new role, because I know when you started here, I think it was in an assistant manager's role. And probably while you were in that role, my observation anyway, was that you saw a lot of things that could change. And how were you able to mentor some of the staff in your assistant manager's role that kind of carried over into the general manager's role when the past general manager, your predecessor, had left? How were you able to transparently implement some of the changes that you wanted to make?
Yeah, so one of the big things I wanted to do was the empowerment piece of, I don't like the words I can't, or I'm not allowed to, or I don't have the ability to. Those aren't words that I want any of my member service reps to be able to say. Everything is, yes, we can do that for you, because we're in the customer service industry. So when I took over as GM, one of the big parts was make sure everybody is capable to do everything. Even if that person is changing a paper towel roll, and it's my assistant general manager, he's going to change paper towel, he's going to go fill a stock. My member service rep, who works part-time the weekends, is able to make billing changes, issue a refund if necessary. So that on all levels. So when I came on as GM, that was one of the biggest changes that I made, was the empowerment.
Now, I just had a really good interview with Lauren, your program manager, and she told me that both of you guys kind of empower each other, feed off of each other, and she said that gave her the autonomy to feel free to do what you just described. How do you integrate that into a culture?
Yeah, it's really, nothing is a hard. I don't come up with policies and procedures myself. It is, something that I talk with my assistant managers about. I could have a great idea that say, hey, I think this is something awesome that we should implement in the club. But if I implement that and I don't have their backing, or on the ground level, it's not going to work, then it completely crumbles underneath me. So when it comes to Lauren and Nathan, my 2 assistant managers, I really need their feedback on everything. So when it comes to a new policy or procedure, I bring it to them and say, good idea, bad idea, will it work, will it not work, what are the struggles that we're going to have when implementing this. And that has allowed them to bring ideas to me to say, hey, I have an idea, will it work, will it not work, good idea, bad idea. And the more ideas we can get, the better that, we can go.
I love that. And, and I had the pleasure and the opportunity to be here when you got your promotion, when Nathan got his promotion, and when Lauren got her promotion. So you said something earlier about when you hire someone, you look to see that they can do anything. That includes manage, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think everybody has the ability to be a manager and to be a leader in the building. And those are the people that we want to hire here, even at the lowest level, because everybody, when you work a shift, you're the manager of that shift. You're working the front desk, and you really have your whole day laid out in front of you on how you have to judge your time, whether that be stocking items, working with customers, doing laundry. You have to be able to manage your time properly and to be able to make decisions appropriately while you're here.
Now, it's really interesting, and I'm not saying this to embarrass you, but I want to bring out a point based on what you were talking about. I was in here Sunday morning, this past Sunday, and it was very, very quiet, and usually in the PT, physical therapy room, it's very quiet, but the light was on, and I heard the rumbling of it sounded to me like a dryer, and then out came you with the clothes, and not clothes, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of being at home. Out came you with a whole bunch of towels and things and stuff, and hand towels, big towels, and there you were doing that, and the thing is that you weren't the only one that was here, but you were doing that, and the first thing I thought of, Jillian, was servant leadership. Talk to me about that, setting example.
Servant leadership, I think, is one of my top priorities as a manager coming in, that I'm not afraid to get dirty. I would never ask one of my member service reps, one of my cleaners, to do something that I personally wouldn't have done myself. And I always like the people underneath me to know that I have their back. I am there for them. I serve them as they serve me. So I never ask them to do something I wouldn't personally do myself. So whether it be laundry, stocking items, cleaning things, when I help them do their job, they help me do my job. So it's a sharing relationship.
So where's the work ethic? I mean, the values are unbelievable, especially with someone in your age category. And both your assistant managers are also, I would say, in the millennium set. Where do you get that work ethic? I mean, it isn't...
Yeah, I started both like with Lauren and Nathan, and this is why I like to promote from within, from the lower levels, because when you come in at a lower level, when I first started working, I was getting shoes at Dick's Sporting Goods. I was getting shoes from the back and setting little kids up for shoes. And when my manager came and just helped me for like 10 minutes, just to be like, oh, thank you so much. Like, there's a big relief to know somebody's there to support me. So when I became a manager and they promoted me from within, I said, that's the type of manager I'm going to be. I'm going to be a supportive manager. I'm going to be out on the floor. I'm going to be assisting and helping. I'm not going to be dictating from the back office. So when I hire people, when I promote them from within, I know that Lauren knows exactly what it's like to be working by yourself, customer service at the front desk. Nathan, he used to open our club for us. He knows what that opener has to go through every morning, so he's going to make sure that that the closer and the opener are well taken care of, so that the club's in good order. When you know what it's like on the bottom, you can dictate from the top much easier. One
thing, and I promised Lauren and I promise you, I'm keeping this to 10 minutes because you were so busy, but one of the things that came to mind, although it may be more of in a religious setting, but I'm looking at world leaders like Mother Teresa and also Pope Francis, and we're saying people that are really kind of quiet, even Gandhi, but they were extremely effective. And your two assistant managers aren't really very loud or vocal, but they're very effective. How do you view that?
Well, for both of them, I think they're both, they're very outspoken to me about certain things. I mean, they're not yelling or screaming or talking. They like we were just talking about. It's the serving. It's the mutual relationship with our staff. Where I don't have to tell my staff members to go and do things. Mm-hmm. I do them myself and say, can you help me with this? Can you assist with this? So they get the point after a while saying, oh, I don't want Jillian just to have to do this. I don't want Nathan just to have to stock and clean the shake bar. It's like, I'm going to go and help and assist myself.
I got it. I just got it. You focus on the goals and not the personalities. And that's really what's important.
Yeah.
But the personalities help accomplish the goals.
I don't think a leader or a manager should be ever, there are times where you have to, if you have to write up an employee or something like that, you have to be very stern and you have to, but you should never speak down to a person. They're your coworkers. The people who work under me, they're the legs I stand on. So if I anger them, if I upset them, or if I'm a bad role model for them, that's the legs I stand on. So they're going to fall and collapse underneath me. Yeah. So if I nourish them, grow them, and treat them with respect and treat them with dignity, and that's what I tell Lauren and Nathan, treat your people with respect and dignity, and they will treat you the same in return.
Same. And so two things come to mind: trust and loyalty. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, and for giving up your valuable time, as well as lending me your assistant manager, Lauren. And I think you do a wonderful job here, and that's why I like to keep coming here. Thanks, Jillian.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome.